What is going on, everybody? DSP here, and welcome to that time of year when I look back upon all of the games that I've played and honor those which I feel were some of the most outstanding accomplishments in gaming overall. Now, I'm going to be honest with everyone. It was very difficult, yet again this year, to narrow this list down to only 10 great games, and therefore you're going to actually see in some parts of this countdown there will be honorable mentions for games that I felt were still pretty good this year, but just didn't make the cut into the very top 10. Now keep in mind, it's not just based on my personal enjoyment, there's also factors that come into play, such as the length of the game, the amount of gameplay, the functionality of the game, any kind of improvements, and, functional and graphically versus the previous installment of an ongoing game series, and of course, the most important thing in my opinion, comparing all of the games that were released in 2015 and ranking them against themselves, which a lot of other game reviewers don't do. When I do my game reviews and my Game of the Year awards, I try to rank these games by way and balancing themselves against each other in several different criteria so that we can find the overall top winner for the year. So it's going to be a blast going through this. I hope that you enjoy it. Every year I really enjoy running through these, and this year's no exception. Without further ado, let's begin. It's Darkside Phil's Game of the Year Awards for 2015, the top 10 best games of the year. Let's jump right into the top 10 with number 10 on the countdown, Mortal Kombat 10. Now, I'm going to be honest with everyone. This was a tough decision for me because I rarely put a fighting game into my Game of the Year awards. But in this regard, I have to say, Mortal Kombat 10, which is made by NetherRealm, was an outstanding fighter for multiple reasons. First of all, you had a high-level competitive fighting game with a wide variety of characters at launch, tried and true to the series with fan-favorite fatalities and such, but also adding in new characters that definitely added to the complexity of the combat and the overall quality of the competitive nature of the game. But outside of the competitive side of the game had tons of content, adding to fan service and overall quality for the $60 that you put down to buy this game at retail. You had a really engrossing and interesting story mode, much like Mortal Kombat 9, where all the characters kind of fit into their new roles. You get to learn about the newer heroes and also the newer villains and who they are and their backstories, how they tie in to the mainstream Mortal Kombat cast. And by the end of the 5 to 6 hours of story, you really feel like it was a lot of fun. Now you've got a new addition to the canon of the Mortal Kombat universe. What about the Crypt mode? An entirely new mode, which was a spin-off take on the classic Crypt from previous Mortal Kombats, where you would use combat points to unlock content. In this one, it's actually a first-person shooter, almost survival horror jump scare simulator, where you also get to unlock things like optional outfits and background art and production art and things like that. So again, lots of replayability. I didn't even mention the challenge towers yet, a series of fights with a theme and sometimes different kinds of rewards and special modifiers thrown in there to make unique combat and unique things happen. And of course the multiplayer, the tried and true traditional thing that is with Mortal Kombat, especially since the series went to a major online component with Mortal Kombat 9. It all comes together to become a hell of a complete package that's going to lead to dozens of hours of gameplay for your dollar. With Mortal Kombat 10 and with all of the games that NetherRealm puts out, it's not just about being a competitive fighter. Yes, that is a factor in the game, but also the amount of content, the fan service, the stuff that they really tack on, the high production value, so that when you buy that game, you know you're going to get tons of gameplay out of it. You're going to say, man, that was well worth my dollar investment, and you really feel at the end of the day like you got a complete package. Other fighting games in this day and age rarely do that, but NetherRealm keeps it up, and I'm really excited not only for their next outing, which seems to be it's going to be Injustice 2, but of course for the next Mortal Kombat as well. So, Mortal Kombat 10, congratulations, making it into my top 10. Again, fighting games rarely make it, but I really felt that it deserved it this year, and it just narrowly edged out some of the games that are going to be honorable mentions later on in the countdown. Very nice. Coming up next, a game developer that rarely makes it to my Game of the Year awards, and a particular game that I didn't know what to expect from actually really pleasantly surprised me. Don't miss it.